Good to have you with us tonight, folks. Thanks for watching. The question is, can Hillary Clinton motivate the entire liberal Democratic base? Because she's going to need it. Can she motivate them all? Is she on the same page with them? She's about to face her toughest test, and she hasn't even announced yet. Clinton needs to prove that she is with unions and workers, and apparently she knows it. On Thursday, Clinton gave what is most likely to be her last paid speech before her campaign starts. She spoke to the American Camp Association in a non-political speech. She talked about her family, and she talked about her love for the outdoors. Now, speeches like that will soon be a thing of the past. Clinton has been in the national spotlight for decades. We do know Hillary Clinton, but the issues are fresh. We know where she stands on certain issues.
Anyone who says that racial discrimination is no longer a problem in American elections must not be paying attention.
We're always going to argue about abortion. It's a hard choice, and it's controversial. And that's why I'm pro-choice, because I want people to be able to make their own choices.
Investing in our neighborhood institutions, strengthening our community bonds, has to be part of our strategy for reducing inequality.
Don't you want to see more women running for Congress who will follow in the footsteps of Barbara Mikulski and champion equal pay and equal opportunity?
I think we should set the global example for transitioning in some more orderly way away from fossil fuels.
I voted to raise the minimum wage when I was a senator. Why? Not only to help minimum wage workers, but the ripple effect of raising the minimum wage will add hundreds of millions of dollars to this state's economy and lift thousands of Kentucky families out of poverty.
All good stuff. Hillary Clinton's right on target with a lot of issues. However, there are two very important issues that Hillary Clinton has not talked about anywhere as of late. First, we don't know where she stands on the Keystone XL pipeline. Second, we don't know where she stands on approval of the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Now, you saw in one of those sound bites, she's very concerned about middle-class families and income inequality, social justice. But these issues will have a major impact on the future of American jobs and our environment. Clinton's going to need to also really appeal to labor leaders, and she knows it. On Monday, Clinton will reconnect with key members of the Democratic base. She will meet with Lee Saunders, who's the president of the American Federation of State and County and Municipal Employees, AFSCME, and also with Randy Weingarten, who will join us in a moment, who's the president of the American Federation of Teachers. Hillary Clinton needs to give American wage earners basically three answers on three different issues. Now, we all know that she is very strong on minimum wage, and she has a record for that, no doubt. Clinton needs to say where she stands on the Employee Free Choice Act. Now, the history here is that this was a big issue with the unions back in 2008, but it kind of fell by the wayside because of the economy and also because of the big effort that was put forward to save the automobile industry and, of course, to do health care reform. But the Employee Free Choice Act is what the unions want. This is what will motivate them. Where does she stand on that? This is what they're going to be asking for in the next election. Hillary Clinton has to state her position on the TPP and fast track and explain how this will not gut American jobs the way NAFTA did. Now, keep in mind, every union has stated that they will not support any candidate who supports the TPP. So far, Hillary Clinton has been silent on this issue. She has to decide if she wants to be for the middle class or destroy it. Now, I put it in such dogmatic terms because this is how organized labor views the TPP. They don't believe that you can be for the middle class and be for a trade agreement that involves 40% of the world's economy and guts American jobs. And all of our trade agreements have got a bad history when it comes to trade being upside down and us losing American jobs. So as I see it, she can no longer remain silent. But here is the problem. What if Hillary Clinton runs unopposed? What if this is a coronation? What if everybody else says, well, Hillary's got it? You know, she's got the infrastructure, has the team, has the popularity. Look at these polls. Nobody else can raise this kind of money. And so I'm not going to run. What if that is the conclusion of everybody? Do we get a real debate on the TPP? Do we get a real debate on Keystone? Do we get a real debate on the Employee Free Choice Act? Do we get a real debate on workers' issues in this country? And this is the problem right now. And there's a real good chance that Hillary might run unopposed if she decides to run. So if she's going to go talk to the unions, folks, I'm telling you exactly what the unions want. They want minimum wage raised. That's not a problem. They want the Employee Free Choice Act addressed. They want a commitment, and they want to make sure that whoever is the Democratic nominee will say no to the TPP because it's a lousy trade deal. Every union in this country is against it. Now, you might think, well, you know, union membership in this country is starting to go down. It's starting to decline. Really? Try to be a Democrat and win the White House without union support, without their social networking, without their financial support, without their boots on the ground. Try to win Ohio without the unions. It isn't going to happen. Get your cell phones out. I want to know what you think. Tonight's question, will Hillary Clinton protect the middle class? Gosh, that's kind of a harsh question, isn't it? But if you view it from the standpoint of organized labor, there are absolutes. You're either with us or you're against us. And if you're for the TPP, you're not an ally. Text A for yes, text B for no to 67622. We'll bring in the results later on in the show. For more on this discussion tonight, let me bring in Randi Weingarten, president of the American Federation of Teachers, Lanny Davis, former special counsel of the White House in the Clinton administration. Also with us tonight, Michael Steele, former RNC chairman and MSNBC political analyst. Mr. Steele, let's start with you first tonight.
Sure.
Your thoughts on her challenges when it comes to rallying the troops when you consider what the unions want to hear?
Well, I have to say, Ed, you've done one of the best unpacking of Hillary's problems that I've heard in a while in terms of what she has to face on the left. A lot of focus has not been on that. She has largely skirted by without the conversation, largely whistling past the graveyard, if you will. And so now I think starting Monday, she's going to have to begin to confront some of these issues, and I think she's going to have a problem. I think she's going to have a problem with TPP. I suspect Hillary supports TPP, and how she negotiates that is going to be very interesting. I think on some of the other issues that you unpacked, I think Hillary is probably going to not be as friendly as many on the progressive side of the ledger would want her to be. But even having said that, I think at the end, because she's not going to get a challenge, a full-throated challenge from a live candidate, if you will, at least none has shown up so far, I think she'll largely get away with it unless folks like you and others sort of hold that feet to the fire for her to see exactly where she stands. But at the end of the day, I think she gets by.
Randy, what do you want to hear from Hillary Clinton on Monday? How far does she have to go?
Well, Monday is about talking about what do we do in urban settings and how do we turn around places like Detroit and other places where the economy has passed these places by. So I think on Monday we're going to have a real roll-up-your-sleeves talking about what are the strategies we need to develop the middle class or redevelop the middle class in urban settings like Detroit. How do
that plays right
housing?
To what I'm talking about. That right there plays to right what I'm talking about. You can't redevelop urban cities in this country if you're going to support trade deals that's going to cut jobs.
Well, let me be really clear, Ed. You're right. The entire labor movement is against TPP for lots of different reasons. Some of the labor movement are for Keystone, some are against. But what we are for is making sure there is a middle class again. And frankly, I think that Hillary Clinton kind of surprised everybody when she was so out there about this issue in the Emily's List dinner. But at the end of the day, we have to have good jobs that pay a living wage. We need to increase the minimum wage, but we also need to actually do something about housing, do something about transportation, do something about industrial stuff and public education.
I totally agree with that, but I'm going to tell you what the unions want to hear if she's looking for union support. They're going to look for the Employee Free Choice Act, and they're going to look for support against the TPP. And there are absolutes here. There are absolutes here. It's a yes or no issue.
So look, Lanny, on the Employee Free Choice Act, so look, we all talk to each other. You know, we're part of both Lee Saunders, AFSCME, AFT. We're all part of the AFL-CIO, and we're very close to our colleagues, and we're all out there against the TPP for all the reasons you talked about. But on EFCA, Employee Free Choice, She was one of the original sponsors of employee free choice. And in watching her in New York, she was always out there when there was an issue of fundamental fairness. So let's see what happens in terms of really, this is the very beginning of this process, but I'm glad she's actually listening and diving into what do we need to do.
Well, that's what candidates are supposed to do.
Yeah, no,
the candidates are supposed to listen. I mean, you know, I mean, if she wants to win, she's there. I mean, I think the union folk in this country are sick and tired of being second fiddle after giving a lot of support and winning states and putting people in the White House.
You're totally right, Ed.
And I think, for instance, in your position, is Hillary for charter schools? Is she going to run the country with a philosophy of Rahm Emanuel and have every union person in Chicago against him, all the teachers? Your organization is not a Rahm Emanuel fan. Rahm Emanuel is very well aligned to Hillary Clinton. What about that?
So, but what about making sure, like she did in New York, to have equity, have funding, lower class size? Look, we want to make sure that that public schools are fixed, not closed, that there's real community engagement, that teachers have the tools and conditions they need. But you're totally right, Ed. We have to have a president that doesn't demonize and doesn't scapegoat teachers and lifts everyone up. And so, you know, it's very early in the process.
It's early in the process, but I think labor knows what they want to hear. Lanny, look, you've got a long history with the Clintons. I know you're a fan and a believer. I want to be a believer, but I want these questions answered. What about her position on Keystone? The last answer I heard from Hillary Clinton on Keystone was this: we need a broader discussion about energy in this country. Wait a minute. Do you want to bring the dirtiest oil on the face of the earth to market? That's going to be the question. Lanny, you take it.
Well, first of all, I always, excuse my hoarse voice, it's proof of the vast right-wing conspiracy when I lose my voice. Greetings to Michael Steele and
Michael,
Randy.
That's your fault, by the way. I just thought I'd throw that in there.
Throwing me under the bus.
I speak as a longtime friend from law school days, but I don't represent her. And on some of the issues you just mentioned, I cannot speak for her. But I will give you some educated guesses. First of all, it's interesting to listen to Ms. Weingarten accurately describe a politician, a political official, senator from the state of New York, all her life since I've known her, as a progressive Democrat on every issue. She's not going to be cornered with labels. She will be very fact-specific. I certainly agree with if I may say, call you Randy.
Of course.
That her position over the years, pro-labor, on virtually every labor issue, I can't say absolutes, I don't use that word, on public schools, on supporting the inner city and the exurbs.
Okay, we got a resume, Lanny. Lanny,
so
respectfully, we've got a resume. Here's the point.
Those were facts.
This is going to be 2016 versus 2008. Labor is much different today. The middle class is much different today than it was 8 years ago. There are people in this economy who are struggling. There are stagnant wages. We know that. The Employee Free Choice Act will give definitely a voice in the workplace, where the Republicans have attacked voices in the workplace with all this right-to-work legislation that all these state legislators have put forward at legislative sessions, state after state. So it's a different landscape now. And this is why the unions are all on board against the TPP, because how much more can they give? I think that this could be the soft underbelly for the Clinton run for president for the nomination. I mean, I think she's going to have to really make a pivot. And Michael, your thoughts on this? I mean, I know that the Republicans are against it. Right. They're in favor of the TPP, but they have to see this as a vulnerability.
Oh, for Hillary, yeah, I think so. And you know, there are 2 points that come to mind in listening to this conversation. The first is this sounds so much like what's going on the right with the Jeb Bush and certain other candidates, where the base is really concerned about the direction you're going to take the country as president of the United States. To both of them, I said, so where do you go? What are you going to do if Hillary does not come to the table as clean, with as clean hands on these issues as you would hope? What are you going to do? That is the dilemma. Are unions going to stay home in 2016 and watch Republicans take the White House by storm, or are they going to fight?
This is the point right here. The unions are going to want to know early on. The unions are going to want to know early on, because if they have to go find another candidate, I think they might do it. Now, they have to find somebody that is going to advocate for the things that they believe in. And I'm telling you, 8 is different than 16. Great conversation. I appreciate having all of us with us tonight. Randy Weingarten, Lanny Davis. Get your voice right, buddy, because I got to have you back a lot more. And Michael Steele. Great to have you with us tonight. Thanks so much. Remember to answer tonight's question there at the bottom of the screen. Share your thoughts with us on Twitter at EdShow.